Dan Lutz, and I'm here with...
Tank. Dan, your volume's a little bit low there, man.
My volume's low. All I could do is get closer.
I was told to have our volumes match up, but I have yet to figure out how to do that. So
You have to speak lower.
I have to speak lower? I will speak lower.
Yeah. Well, so if I'm... anyway, I don't know how to match them up either. I'd have to have like a mixing board, something like that, and feed everything into it. But anyway, we'll try. We'll try. I mean, all I can do is get another microphone and put it right here, like you do, and that would.
I know. I'm trying to get this down so my voice is clear. I've been not quite nailed it yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, you sound much more deeper today. Your voice is
good.
Sounding deeper. This is my church singing voice.
Oh yeah, for like 14.
I sing in the deeper tones. So I have a good range. So what's
all right? So
what's going on,
man? What's
okay.
exciting?
Who said it first?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a ton of things that I'm looking at that I'm kind of fascinated by that we do need to talk about.
All right. Well, let me ask you first. From yesterday, John was on, and that was really a fantastic call. So why don't you kind of give us an update of like what's going to happen with John?
Well, Dan, I'm glad you asked. So we talked to John, our mysterious guest, and you'll notice that we scrubbed the names from both of our YouTube channels because we thought, let's not get John killed, okay? So now, for anybody who didn't hear last night's call, John is somebody who's been part of the Creators Network for some time, and he is someone that I had never spoken to him directly because I worked with his team, and I respected that, that was someone I didn't need to talk to yet until we came in with funding. So now he has the cure, he has a treatment that can take someone who has cancer or HIV or AIDS and return them back to optimal health, right? You're not allowed to say cure, according to the FDA, which is some sort of fascist regime owned by the United Nations that exists on U.S. soil and dictates how we practice medicine here. So in this, he has this incredible data that he went to Africa and cured 7,200 people from AIDS. He did studies here where he cleared 1,700 people of cancer. And when this happened, he actually went into court and they let everybody else go ahead of him. So it was just him in the courtroom all by himself, right? And the judge asked, where are all the complaints, the people complaining that this man made false claims with this product that he's putting out there, right? And the prosecution said, there isn't any. They're all cured. None of them have...
They said cured?
I'm not sure what the exact words were, but I would imagine, they made it illegal to cure something, right? So if you cure something, you've now put a major dent in the pharmaceutical economy, right? The medical economy. So, which, if there's anyone out there, hopefully you have enough sense to be absolutely furious at that thought of every person you ever saw get sick and die through the horrible process of radiation poisoning caused by chemotherapy, right? Because it is brutal. Now, so he has this, basically the way he described it is just a few herbs basically that he, discovered, and the way the molecule works is the molecule is large enough that it won't fit into a regular cell, but it will fit into broken, cancer cells and HIV cells, and then it dramatically increases. So it eliminates that from the body. Then it dramatically increases the amount of antigens in the body, and then I guess it sounded to me like it creates almost an immunity. It's almost like the way a vaccine should work if it wasn't laced with poison. Anyway, so we talked to John about this, and coincidentally, we had done all the work to actually do a cancer research study with Tom Palladino and Scalar Energy. And now, with John, it looks like we're going to be able to take that same effort and move it forward. And he also, which I think this is actually, people don't know this, Dan, but cardiovascular disease kills more people than all forms of cancer and AIDS combined.
Yeah.
So, and he has the ability to take some kind of herbal supplement that he made, and basically it will flush out the atherosclerotic plaque that builds up in the arteries. Now, it does this. It does it by dissolving it and transmuting it back into usable material in the body. So that means that, and he actually had the 3D echocardiograms to prove it, to show in 3 days it flushed all the plaque out of the arteries, which makes me think potentially that could also work with Alzheimer's, which he said he had great results with Alzheimer's, and also that it would also seem to work with the plaque buildup caused by fluoride.
Yeah. Just on the Alzheimer's side of things, I want to point out that a lot of that has to do not exactly with plaque, but because the plaque restricts the arteries carrying blood to the brain, your blood does not have enough passing through the brain to actually remove excess iron that builds up in the brain, and that's what ends up short-circuiting the neural network.
Yeah, and actually that again goes back to, a lot of times when people are iron deficient, right, they're anemic, it's not because they don't have enough iron, it's because they don't have enough iron in their blood, but so they keep saturating their body with more iron, and then it builds up in all the body, so it causes all types of issues, and that's because the actual hemoglobin in the blood cells doesn't open up. So what he has, seems like it addresses those very issues. Now,
I want some.
We're actually, so we're setting up two very, modest studies to start, and we're going to just try to do those kind of under the radar, just to gather data, so we can actually look at the data before and after. So anybody who might have some kind of form of cardiovascular disease and you're comfortable sharing your information with us, we have a whole form that you'll have to fill out so that we can collect that, and you can, basically. See if it works, right? And put it to the test. And we have that. John and I have already made arrangements to get that in the right places so we can do it. And we do have some expenses, so we're actually going to have to raise a little bit of money for that to do the study the right way. So we'll put things out there that if people want to contribute anyway, we'll let that happen too. But we're basically, the study will basically be free otherwise, but. We operate on pretty much a zero budget, so we got to find, as we're waiting for funds to release from the trust, we do have to make other arrangements. And, we have people out there right now who are completely overwhelmed by, conversations with Kim. I had somebody talk to Kim for 4 hours last week, like 2 different conversations, right? And at one point, Kim was like, okay, so if I'm here and you're 1,000 miles away, how do you want me to pay you? Because I can't fly there every time. Just trying to explain the basics of how money moves through the system. And it was kind of tedious. I'm like, really? Are we really having this conversation? And this was like a computer expert who had built a whole financial system, right? So, we're in need of kind of a wallet-based system right now. Kim's got a bunch of different ways that money should be able to move, but I can't speak to where she is in that yet, in giving money to the people. But in the meantime, I would say that we are attracting abundance because we have attracted abundance in health, and we have attracted the cure, or not the cure, to cancer and AIDS, HIV, and apparently cardiovascular disease. So I think we have the potential to be the new, we can put pharmaceutical companies out of business if we really put our mind to it, right? Have the right protection, right pieces. Not that we would, but we might. I'm just saying. We might.
Well, they would end up either adapting to really curing people and not keeping them on a regiment of constant payouts to the pharmaceutical industry. Or either adapt and do something that cures people, or they will move. They'll actually just dissolve themselves. It'll be like medicine for the whole world, to have them dissolved.
Pharmaceutical actually goes back to the Greek term. Actually, if you track it back, it goes back to the term meaning poisoner, which makes a lot of sense to me. I also think they probably made a very clever decision. They said, haha, you know what? We don't want them to know that we're actually drugging them like farm animals, so we'll change it from an FARM to a pH. Then they'll never know, right? Because they're idiots. That's kind of how they treat us. So, and we're just pharmaceutical, they're just poisoning the farm animals.
Right.
But it's kind of amazing. We really do need to talk about the intent of what is happening, right? Because where the real conflict, in my opinion, is there is a lot out there right now that if we just examine it for what it really is, there's no debates about any of these issues. Okay, we'll throw a couple out there. So we'll start with vaccines just to get off the table, right?
Okay.
If we took vaccines and said, okay, based on the number of people that die from the measles, or the number of people that gets autoimmune disorder. Now, if the rate in which people get an autoimmune disorder, or let's say it's 100 times greater chance that your child will get autism versus die from the measles, would you still vaccinate against the measles, or would you avoid getting autism?
Right.
If it's 100 times greater chance, which it is at least, right? Then take what's happening right now in court in politics. You've got they're back on the train again, right? Like, yeah, we're going to impeach Trump. Okay, so we have on record, we know for a fact, Ilhan Omar, clear and obvious campaign violations, married some type of illegal marriage. These things are absolute. There's no question about them. Clearly, obviously, based on her rhetoric, supports terrorism. Right? You have.
Why hasn't she been arrested?
Why hasn't she been arrested? Great point. Alexandria Cortez. She has at least 3 campaign violations. She is supporting a terrorist group called Antifa. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Antifa has not been legally identified as a terrorist group, who literally dresses up like the Grim Reaper and finds the most helpless individual they can. Then they gang up on them. They throw bricks into crowds. They create toxic mixtures that are filled with pepper spray, and then they stick, right? So it's not just pepper spray. It's an added chemical that forces it to stick in the eyes. So on top of it burning your eyes, right, which would be enough with pepper spray, they made it so you could literally blind someone, right? So they're intentionally going to blind someone.
It sounds like these are like the bad kids from when you're growing up, right? You know, the 8-year-olds that are doing bad things. They're not. They just act out. They do all sorts of things to hurt people and they're all very low tech, right?
Low tech, yeah. Well, but it's worse than that, though. I mean, because that's happening, but who has been labeled a terrorist group? We have. Why? Because we have different ideas. Because we look at facts and we don't just accept the mainstream narrative, and we actually validate things and do research. So because of that, we are labeled a terrorist group. Right. But Antifa, who dresses up like the Grim Reaper and beats up old people and little Chinese men and calls them white fascists, right? And yells at them for being racist, actually puts up signs and billboards that say, if you date a white, it's not right. Which even when I say it, it's hilarious to me, right? Like, who says that? Like, even when you look back on like the civil rights, right, and you hear about people saying like that white and black people couldn't date, doesn't it make you feel embarrassed that we even thought that way? That anyone thought that way?
Right, but now they're doing it.
How are you going to put that?
And of course they call you a racist, right, or a white nationalist, or like they call Candace Owens a white nationalist, and she goes, shakes her head. Don't they know I'm black?
Candace Owens was on stage with this, hip hop guy, right? And I don't even know who it was. I just saw the clip, but she's on stage. Clearly, she's like kind of the only one that isn't in this hip hop culture, right? It's clearly like a bunch of rappers. Now, she calls them out for the gotcha moments, right? So you're on stage, right? You say something that, like, in there's a word that is like catchy, right? Like, know what I'm saying? What? And they got everybody like going off like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we're not going to take you, right? Like, now everybody's yelling. Nobody knows why, right? Candace Owens, she dropped knowledge on this group. I loved it. She goes, no. And she would not back down from it. She goes, no, that's not what I said. She said, what I said was that you continue to have these gotcha moments, but you say nothing. You have educated no one. You have proven nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is like the brand name of the Democratic Party. Like, what are you talking? How is Kamala Harris talking, saying, I was there at the trial? Right now, this is when Kavanaugh was being, the Democratic Inquisition, right? And they were all playing out their parts from a scene they saw in like Law and Order, right? So they're like, okay, this is how lawyers act on TV, right? So I'm going to say something really profound, and I'm going to say, oh, really? And then I'm going to have, like that's what they did the whole time. It was like acting school. I'm like, this is real life. Like, what are you guys doing? Right? So they never said anything. They kept applauding Blasey Ford, the amazing, courageous testimony of whatever Blasey Ford. After seeing that, we don't know how Kavanaugh can be. It's like, are these real people?
And now
are they just the best actors in the class, right?
And now she doesn't even remember the incident.
She doesn't remember it, and she admits that she misidentified Kavanaugh.
Yep.
I mean, now that's one. And no, I'm sorry, but now they have this new woman who's really just one of the throwbacks from the original,
right?
Who says, she goes, I don't remember this happening. How can you be a witness to something or an accuser to something you don't remember happening?
Right. Because
your friends said it happened?
Because your friends remember that you said something about it, but they don't actually remember, the details of it.
Dan, remember that one time when that guy raped you? Oh, wait.
No,
you probably remember.
Right? I don't remember that.
Yeah. You probably remember, right? Yeah. You probably remember. Like, it would scar you. It would be terrible, right?
Yeah, it would not be something.
So we got that going on.
I want to forget.
Yeah.
I'd want to forget.
Yeah, of course, we wouldn't want to forget. But so now we got to impeach the president, because if not, this is actually what they're saying now. They're completely out the box now. Because if not, he's going to become president again. And then what? We'll still have a country. I mean, the list of things this president has accomplished, because politics will no longer be just about, talking a lot of smack and doing nothing. Yeah. It'll actually be about getting things done, because the bar will be raised for everybody.
I think Trump needs a do-over for his first term, so he should have an extra 2 terms. So he should run in 2024.
I agree.
Yeah, because they screwed him up. Yeah, and he could have done how many more things if they were not trying to stop him.
I think we should actually propose that bill.
Yeah.
It'll be HR, the Democratic Party is absolutely useless clause. It'll be referred to in history. And every time someone says it, they have to say the whole bill. Well, because the Democratic Party was useless during clause, we will not allow you to filibuster and waste time any longer. These are no longer things. Like, filibustering should not be a thing in politics, right? Politics should not be about, pomp and circumstance, getting up and pretending. It should be about getting things done, right? Get things done. That's why we elect people, right? Not to play the political games. Screw all the political games. Just get things done. Represent the people in your district.
Right.
It's simple. But Alexandria Cortez has a 13% approval rating.
Why is it that high? Oh, that's because the polls are skewed. They're not real. So it's obviously around 3%.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking at this. There's this new group out with Republicans, and they want to identify, up and coming Republicans, right? And I think I'm going to start creating a profile to actually run for something, because I just can't fathom that there's no leadership within leaders. Now, I'm looking for, our people are stepping up and trying to step up. But even it's so corrupt. This woman who was going to run up there, I can't remember her name now. I think her name is Daniela, right? She was up there in Minnesota going to run against Ilhan Omar. And the more we talk to her, I'm like, she's part of one of the Monarch programs for the MK Ultra, right? She doesn't know where she came from. She doesn't know if her mother's her mother. She doesn't remember whole chunks of her life. She was set up to be, to like be arrested. They just kept bringing her down to reintroduce trauma, and she has no idea. You can't have someone like that in a political office anymore because they're dangerous, right? They're dangerous. But on paper, like she's a school teacher, she's, cute and unthreatening, but how do you know who's who? And she had her own handlers, right? All types of people. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in, right?
Right.
So.
Well, it's the thing is it's all the Congress and Senate has been so controlled. It's all just a scripted position. Those few people that make it through because they literally said, "Well, I'm done. I'm not going to take this anymore." Stood up and went out, got votes, and got into office. They get rolled over inside the machine of this, right? And they get them into a compromised position and blackmail them. So, and then they give them a script. So everyone there is scripted. The only one not on script, well, Trump is. I'm sure there might be a handful that's not scripted, and some have been released from the process. I don't know, like Lindsey Graham's. He's released, right? He can, now, go out and make things happen. And there's a
no, I think it's great. It's like they must have found his tapes and destroyed them.
Yeah. So, exactly. Yeah, whatever the tapes were, and he's been freed up from it. We need to see, how can we really bring people into Congress, into government, that are real people, that are going to be able to withstand, the things that they're put through, and not let power corrupt them.
Well, I'll tell you something else. This is pretty amazing. So, it's something to do with Hillary Clinton, one of her direct people, right? Is now going to face trial for constantly participating in these dark web infant rape practice, right? Where he would be such a regular user observing these infants being raped over and over again. At one point he was on it 26 times in a 2-day period, right? And so this was actively happening. Not only that, but he was distributing it, and then he became directly associated with it, right? Now, this is someone very close to the whole Clinton campaign, right? Now, you don't have a 26-time-a-day infant rape addiction, and your boss doesn't know. I'm sorry. You don't hide that, right? You don't hide that kind of an addiction. That is something where you are constantly aroused by things that are completely terrible. You're going into closets to pleasure yourself because you just got to kiss a baby. That's a awful. There's no way you can survive in that, right? Now that is not an anomaly. That is the culture. That's normal in the culture.
Right.
Now these tweets. It came up. I tweeted it out. Gone. Everything we talk about that exposes what they are doing and who they are, it's gone. Now, this is actually being tried. It's actually there. It's actually being it's a criminal case. Nobody on the news is talking about it. How do you not talk about something like this?
Right.
But you're going to talk about a 30-year-old accusation that the person who's accusing doesn't even remember in reference to a Supreme Court justice who's already been cleared.
Yeah. Well, let me bring up something that I was watching on American intelligence media. So they were going over, this is one of their latest ones, probably it is the last one that they've done, what the Pilgrim Society is, because they traced back all of this control structure, right? And they said everything is leading to the Pilgrim Society back from 100 and 120 years ago, 112 years ago, I forgot what the number was, but it's something that's over 100 years ago, and they are. This is from Britain, right? The group out of the Privy Council that is a society. It's the Pilgrim Society, and that it is all of these super wealthy men of the time, the Rockefellers and the people that form the Federal Reserve. All of these same characters are part of this, and they show how they were going after the media, the reporters, and now they brought in the child rape and other things into welcome packages that they would have for reporters that were coming to these meetings that they were having, so that they could really literally control what was being said in the media. Right? So they were rewarding them with packages of pornography, but also it looked like it was set up as a way to, this is your reward. You get this if you play ball with us. So it goes back to then. It wasn't something that was, they just started doing like, after World War II. No, this is part of the way that they were operating back then. So this kind of thing, it was, and even if you look at going back, thousands of years to ancient Baal worship and everything, these are the same things back then that they were doing. So this has never gone away, but it's always kept in the shadows. It's always having something to do with power and how they keep power. And we have to really expose this and make sure that everyone knows that it exists and to watch out for it. And whenever it comes up, you got to shine the light of day on it. You can't sweep it under the rug. You can't be embarrassed. You can't have your feelings about it. So, I'm disgusted when I hear it. But it's not going to stop me from saying, hey, stop that.
Right. I agree. And it's, yeah.
I just wanted to jump in and tell you that your audio is being messed with.
My audio or both of our audio? Or?
Both of your audio, but your voice is being altered.
Mine is being altered, okay.
Yeah, and Dan's is, there's an echo.
Yeah, I hear the echo.
Yeah, but Tank's voice is extremely being altered, like very badly. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I tried to message you guys.
Oh, my bad. I wasn't even looking.
I just don't want because you were talking about this, Dan. They're messing with your frequency right now. So.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna jump off and come back on and see the
okay.
Yeah, that might work. Tank.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Be right back.
Well, this is something that the Pilgrim Society looks like they're one of the control arms of this. Is there another one behind that? Maybe so, but let's just say that this is one to focus on, because this is the one that you can get some information on still, even though it's been hidden. They actually found a lot of this material from digging in literally libraries. They have people going into libraries, pulling out books and tracing stuff down. And then they put it out on the internet, and they also encourage everyone, when they put stuff up, grab it and save it offline so that it's still available, because this kind of information is something they thought is buried in time. But we've learned that we have to dig in and find out where this stuff is coming from. We need to know where, what they've been doing, so we know how to stop it. So we're.
I agree.
Oh, you're back.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that though. I agree with everything you're saying. So yeah, and I think you're right. The only thing to do is bring light to it and point it out, because nothing's going to change, if we don't change the way, our response to it.
Right.
They'll keep doing what they're doing if we keep eating it up and going, oh my goodness, that's real, and we just keep going along with it. It's like at some point it's like, well, are we all going to keep playing dumb and act like Alexander Cortez isn't just like a bad actor who got like somehow put in the government?
And I'll tell you what, I'm going to challenge the system. I think I'm going to run against her because now the Republicans are setting up something similar, right? So, I mean, if Alexandria Cortez can, run, I feel like pretty much anyone can. Like,
Well, well, yes. Well, I think we actually can win because we just need to stand up and let people know we're there. But the thing is, we have to do it the old-fashioned way. We literally have to be smart about walking door to door and explaining to people what's going on and say, well, this is the things we have to stop. We need to stand up and show that we're not, beholden to any of these other powers, right? And just say, so we just need the vote.
I don't even care if I win, actually. I just want to be in live debates against these moronic, idiotic, stupid questions and answers that they put out there. They ask a question, and they all come back with these generic, ignorant answers about everything.
Right.
How they're going to do, when the Democrats were all speaking in Spanish, I was so embarrassed for them, I didn't know what to do with myself. It was like, yo hablo, yo puedo escuchar. Muy bien. I was like, please stop. Please stop what you're doing. It's terrible. It is, you are not multicultural. You are not connected like all of you are showing it. It's not natural. We have to stop acting like this is okay behavior for anyone who's in an elected seat. It shouldn't be this dichotomy between these two groups of the Republicans versus the Democrats. It shouldn't be that way.
Well,
there are certain principles we should all agree on, right? Now, I would challenge the courts, and I am challenging the courts this way. If you think about it, if both of us, both the judge, the attorneys, the Democrats, the Republicans, the president, all groups in Congress to the Senate, shouldn't we all be able to agree that we are advocates for human life? Human quality of life is specifically in reference to American quality of life. All of us should want the best actual health for the American people, right? The best education for the American people. Now, if that's true, then there's absolutely no way, there's no interpretation, there's no argument about the data that we already have. We already have this data on even what was said last night. How on earth could the FDA justify burying something with the results that this man had for 3 years and no one has even heard about it? No one even heard about it.
right.
He cured more people in the time he was researching, the 7 years he researched, than chemotherapy has in the last 80 years. That's incredible. You have, when it comes to vaccines, how can we look at this data side by side and say, okay, first of all, the chances of, there's only, the Gardasil vaccine only guards against 4 strands of the 100 strands of HPV. The chances of a child getting cervical cancer are 2.1, or anyone getting cervical cancer, anyone, is 2.1 out of 100,000. And most of the times, HPV, the body will just get rid of. We'll just get rid of it. Because that's how the body works, it heals itself. But if we give them a vaccine, 2.1 kids out of 100, not 100,000, out of 100, will develop some type of autoimmune disorder.
Right.
And that's the risk of one drug. Not to mention all the that we were talking about this last night, that cancer presents as a virus, and lo and behold, leukemia is the #1 cancer killer for kids. And coincidentally, there is a leukemia virus in the MMR vaccine, an active leukemia virus. How is that possible? How would anyone say that's okay? So, all these things that are happening, they're laughable at some point, right? You're putting things side by side. Kamala Harris comes out and she's talking about Brett Kavanaugh. He is a Supreme Court justice. Shut your mouth. This woman had the nerve and audacity that, okay, here's another one. Shouldn't we be able to agree on both sides, Republican and Democrat, that life is part of something we all deserve and should have, right? We deserve to live. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Right.
You deserve to be alive. How do you justify a baby being born alive, no matter what your intent was? The baby is born alive. Twin boys, 24 weeks delivered, sitting in a pan, moving, fighting for their life, and the doctor just takes sterile water and dumps it on them until it covers their mouth and their nose. If they're not alive, then why are they breathing? Why don't they have the rights that any other human being has? That is murder.
It is.
These things, this type of thing, gets recorded by a journalist brave enough to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Because that is the appropriate response right now. He doesn't do that, right? He stands in there, right? He stands in the box, and he gets all this information. That dude is a hero. That is incredible. Oh my God, you just uncovered vile crimes against humanity. What does Kamala Harris do? She goes after the journalist.
Right.
What? Are you kidding? How does taking a baby that falls out on the floor during abortion, that is alive, that doctors confess they often have babies that are born alive during an abortion, and they have to kill them? How? Because even isn't there a hierarchy of crimes? Don't we all agree? Like when it comes to you shouldn't have recorded me saying awful things versus you repeatedly set up an organization that kills babies on a regular practice. Not just aborted babies, not just babies that are, someone doesn't want and, the baby's dead, but they're out, they're alive. These are people. These are real people. I can't. I'm like, like Dan, I'm sorry. I know I've hammered this, but you know what? This is where we are at in society, and it is, people want to make it about women's rights. This is not about women's rights.
No.
It's human rights. It's human. It's the right of a baby to be alive.
Yeah, the choice was to have sex and getting pregnant. That was the choice.
Absolutely.
Beyond that, you can say when does life begin, but if you don't agree it's begun after it's left your body, you're in denial, and you don't want to face what's going on. And the purpose is nothing to do with your choice. It has everything to do with them making money off of what comes out of your body. Now they're doing beating hearts. They're selling beating hearts.
I know.
Why is it beating? Because it's alive.
Live, right? See, at the end of the day, unless every single person who holds this view, let's take it off. It's an irrational discussion. It's not a pro-life, pro-choice decision. Well, it's not. It really isn't. It isn't about, are we human? Are you human or aren't you? Because if an infant, it is born into this world, it didn't do anything wrong, and it's so determined to live, it survives an abortion as you're attempting to kill it. Don't you think that life counts? I mean, it is alive now. Do you think that the will of the mother as to whether or not she wants it is more powerful than the actual life of the child? It is so profoundly ignorant and negligent that every single person out there fighting this fight for pro-Planned Parenthood, who we know traffics their own people, and major events. This was outed in Africa. They were trafficking their own people, which the United States contributed to, right? They contributed more to do that than they did to build the wall. This is not logical anymore. It's not just anti-American, it's anti-human, it's pro-slavery. You are everybody supporting this. You are supporting the annihilation of humans. We can't do that anymore. We have got to draw a line somewhere. We've got to say that we've got to find a place and say, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. There's a line we will not cross. There's a price we will not pay. The price right now on the line is our soul. It is the soul of humanity. These things, I just can't believe that most people really feel this way. We need to go in with the militia and take over every single mainstream media outlet because they are spreading propaganda and lies which are infecting people everywhere. These things go off like triggers. You know, Dan, I can see it from my window. It's less than a block from my house. At the pizza place where my kids hang out, you know, a couple times a week after school. Right? You know, 13 years old, you know, we let them go, you know, bike over there. The bike go to the pizza place, right? No big deal. Getting pizza, what could possibly happen? 2 kids there today. 2 kids got stabbed today. One of them is dead. Right? One of them, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen my neighbor's cars. I saw the video of this that one of my son's friends got, and one of them looks just like my neighbor, and I'm pretty sure that's how close it was, right? It's just a kid. It's just a kid. They're fighting over something that doesn't even matter. Like, do we really have to have this conversation of who's tougher, who's stronger? Honestly, it's not you. If you're the one who's willing to kill a baby, if you're the one raping children, if you're the one who has somehow been duped and put in this situation, it's not you. Stop. Like, stop. Regain your soul. Come back to humanity. Remember who you are, who you wanted to be, and be that. It's just disgusting. So,
you know, this is the time we need to shake it off. You know, change this. You know, the people that are already in this, you know, some of them are too far gone, and they need to go to the island. You know, they really, you know, need to be just moved out of society, because, you know, we cannot have them around for their potential relapse. You know, and there shouldn't be any children on the island.
agreed.
You know, we need to do something but this is worldwide. It has to be something that's addressed worldwide. I mean, we only really have the United Nations, and I'm not a big fan of it. Maybe we need the United Countries. Maybe we need to transcend this because it's a corrupt organization to the core. You know, but we need to do something worldwide. We need to bring up the awareness, and it's literally being held back. You know, we need to punch through. Yeah, I know that we get much more views than what we're being told. Everyone's doing analysis and seeing, like, other channels that they're saying, well, they've tracked it, and now they know that they're 7-to-1 views. For every 7 views comes in 1. When I did it before, we were at 15-to-1. That was way back in the beginning. So,
Yeah.
But this action needs to be moved out into the world where people know that this is going on and we're talking about it. So the only way is to take these videos and move them out. Copy them off and send them out on your own YouTube video. Very easy, doesn't take long. Watch YouTube video how to do it. You'll learn in 2 minutes on how to do it, and then just spread it. You know, ask people to do the same. We get the word out.
Well, Dan, I wanted to say something encouraging, because I know it's been a rough week for you. I know a lot, so I don't mean to. So here's what I want to tell you. On this weekend, when we were warned, it's the harvest moon, they're going to be attacking us. Even Kim said, shields up, be on your guard, right? So for 3 days, we knew they were going to be attacking. So from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we knew the bad guys are coming. They're going to be sending, evil demons and all types of stuff at us, right? In that time, here's what I want to point out that what happened. We have the cure for cancer. We've already put it out to 100 different people. We have the cure for AIDS and the cure for cardiovascular disease. And you know what? We put it in so many people's hands that you'll never, ever be able to suppress it. We've already put all the tools out to take down the entire corrupt pharmaceutical industry. It'll cost you trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And what it will do is it'll heal humanity. It'll break away all this fluoride that is bogging people down, wake people up in such a way, it'll be so incredible that it will, this is going to enhance, this is going to be like the Great Awakening on steroids.
Well,
So
they did
in the
attack
weekend.
us. They did attack us.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they put out a article on Kavanaugh in the New York Times, right? That was their attack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all they have left.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm like, that's it?
That's it.
That's what you got? That's it?
That's it.
Come on. Like, please. It's a joke. All of them. Come, and by the way, I also know this is working, and I got some insider information on this, but I also, it went public, that there is 13 FBI agents who are coming out to testify against Hillary Clinton. Because they're catching on finally. Good job, boys. Be men or women. Just be the best version of both. Come out and do something great. That's amazing. Hey, do me a favor. Stay alive. Stay alive in the meantime, okay? Do not go near any doorknobs. If you see a scarf on a doorknob, run the other way, because I don't know what it is, but everybody who knows the Clintons, they end up, coming out to confess against them, and they tie themselves to the doorknob and kill themselves somehow. Don't let it happen to you, FBI. 13 agents. And I bet you that has something to do with some of the things that we have put out to them, and also the FBI agent who killed himself on the dance floor in New York City. I would have to imagine that when they saw one of their own go down that way, that was too bad. So Dan, I would say this weekend, if this was their best shot, we got them. I think we rocked their jaw, man. So.
I think so. It is happening. Well, this, as I said, what else did they do? A harvest moon, very big event. They always do something. Nothing, right? An article in the New York Times that got shot down the next day. The Anons have learned to dig out the information and present it. So we're not anonymous. we are the news. We're the ones that are bringing out all the information that we've already surpassed them. CNN's down. They can't even do 1 million views in any 1 hour.
I love it.
Yeah.
So there's that. So everybody, listen. Anybody out there, tell a friend. Somebody who might be dealing with, cancer or HIV or AIDS or severe cardiovascular disease, and they need help. We are going to be doing these studies. You can reach out to us at admin, ADMIN, at speakprojectmedia.com. I wish I had the girls here right now to correct me, but I think that's right. So you can come on, you can just write us if you want to contribute in some way. We do have an expense. So my goal is to have this fully active in the next 2 weeks. We had a lot of conversations with the appropriate party today to get that done. But there is just a bottling expense that we got to figure out. No one is going to profit off this. This isn't something, but we just got to figure out how to pay to get it to you. So if you're someone who has one of these, these horrible, incurable, sicknesses, you know what? They're neither. It doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be incurable. It can be fixed in a very short period of time, and we want to make sure we get that option to you. There's no charge for it whatsoever, and that's part of why we're safe, because you know what? We're not selling anything. So it's kind of amazing. But and all I'm saying, this is just true, and I never solicit donations, and I never try to raise money. But I got to be honest, I'm not sure how we're going to do that. We'll find a way. The universe will bring this to us. I know this. But if you have somebody out there who's just, has money and they want to contribute, please hit us up, because, we do. We need support right now. We need a little help with that. So, and if you want to be part of it.
and I feel bad that I'm asking for donations right now because I'm in that spot again. You know, I am working my way out, but I definitely need some help. I did ask in the chat room earlier, and I put the information in the description down below for giving a contribution. And you can even go to wwg1wga.love and then sign up. And there's monthly donations and yearly. So whatever you can do, I would appreciate it. And I hate to have to ask.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're actually going to forward all the emails, anybody who's inquiring, to speakproject@protonmail.com.
Good email service. There you go.
Yeah, it's more private.
Okay, so what does it say it again?
Speakproject@protonmail.com.
Speakproject@protonmail.com. So
Excellent.
we'll make sure that Dan will add that at the bottom of the video.
Yeah,
And,
I'll add it.
and we'll put it there. So anybody who wants to contribute, and do me a favor, support, please. Everybody who benefits, you know, if you're in a better situation, that's great. I don't ever ask anybody for money. But
yeah, we're
in this
pretty
case,
careful about
we're trying to get money to people who need help, right? And we're not trying to get money. We're trying to get an actual solution to a problem that affects all of us, right? And you know what? And Dan has put in that time as much as anybody, and we've run him out of business in many ways. So, and he's done that doing the right thing. How many of us can stay the same?
Yeah.
So, please, you know, figure out, find somebody, lend a hand. And that being said, Dan, I think we're good for tonight. What do you think?
Good. Again, everyone,
All right.
thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow. Subscribe and pass this video around. Let people know what's going on, and get active. Join us on the front lines.
Indeed. All right, Dan, have a good night. Everybody have a good night. Sid, thanks for your help.
All right, no problem. Good night, guys.
Bye, Sid.